Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever the case may be. This is your host Matthias, and this is All That Jazz podcast. And I have today with me Michael, and he's friend currently in Israel, and he grew up in Los Angeles. And he's gonna talk about how travel shaped him, and that eventually led him to immigrate from the United States to Israel. And we're also gonna talk about how this social media is changing how we communicate with each other. We're going to talk about coronavirus because we must. And we're going to talk about, last but not least, the paranormal experiences in Michael's life that have shaped the way he sees afterlife and why he believes there is something, because he has these strange experiences that we're going to talk about. So you don't want to miss this one. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So here we are. I have Michael on my show.
Yo, what's up? Welcome.
Welcome,
Michael,
to the show.
of the Them That and This podcast. If you want to hear me.
Yes, and this is All That Jazz with Mad Jazz. I use Mad Jazz because Matthias is my name, but Mad Jazz is how most people call me in English-speaking countries. Anyway, it's a work in progress. The title, it doesn't matter. I have Michael on with me, and let's start with the beginning, Michael.
I always thought to call you Matt. I mean, that's what I called you.
I know.
But so people in I'm the only English speaker then who calls you this.
No. It's the thing is, man, I was like in a hostel and there was like 3 Matts, and then they stopped calling me Matt and start calling me Majaz, or they tried to say my name, but my name is Matthias.
Matthias.
Yes.
Sounds very Russian. Matthias.
Kind of, yes. Hungarians also have that thing going, similar name. So for our listeners here, I met Michael in a small town in Israel called Tiberias.
Tiberias, yeah. Horrible. I don't know what to... I look back on it and have like good memories of it, but like at the same time, it is kind of a dead place, There isn't a lot there. It's like, I don't recall there being any bars, any kind of place where you could really hang out,
Yeah, I did kind of like the atmosphere though. I think, how much was it under the sea level? It was quite a bit.
It was hot in the summertime.
Oh, I remember that. I remember in November coming from Scotland to there, and it was like 27 degrees or 28, and we had AC at night. I was like, wow.
Yeah. When I first got there, it was September. It was like 40 degrees, 41.
Oh,
it was like hell on earth. It was terrible. I hate the heat. But yeah, we both come a long way since then. Thankfully, I'm not in that small town anymore, and I'm in the big city. Kind of, in a more better independent life,
Yeah, probably the only part of Middle East that feels like Europe, in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, but do you think it does? I have no idea. For me, Europe feels like way more beautiful, way more better weather. People are way nicer. Like for me, Tel Aviv doesn't feel like Europe. It's like dirty here. It smells like piss. I like it though. I love it, but like it doesn't feel as like beautiful and pristine as Europe. Everything's like spotless. You could eat off the floor.
Whoa! I wouldn't go that far. That's like maybe that's like Switzerland maybe, or Norway. That's like really clean. If you go to Bulgaria or like some Belarus or Moldavia, man, that's
not floors you want to be eaten off of.
No. Even here, I wouldn't trust it, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
I trust it more than Tel Aviv floors, though, for sure.
So, I want to get into your story, how you decided to go to Israel, because I know you're from, you grew up in Los Angeles, so it's odd, because a lot of people in the world would be like, Los Angeles, this is amazing, I love the city, I've seen it in movies, it's great, but what's been your experience?
Okay, so LA, growing up there and going to college and all that, it was a great time. It was fun. But like, there's like bands playing every night, lots of cool things, a lot of like a lot of different types of people and cultures in the city. And you're just basically like, and I was a theater student, so I didn't have like a lot of college and university or whatever. It wasn't a hard thing for me. It was just a lot of fun.
Right.
So I would go there. I just like go around with my friends, like go to shows, do whatever, go to places to eat, go to bars. And it was a beautiful time in my life. But like once I became an adult, LA became like a much harder place. Because it's super competitive, and the economy is kind of bad. There's not a lot of jobs, it feels like. And even if you apply for somewhere like a fucking Pizza Hut, there's at least like 100 other people who applied for that job. So it's hard as fuck. It's like luck. You could be unemployed for like 3 months looking for a fucking job over there.
And the rent is high. The rent is high, I imagine.
The rent is super high. Super high. Thankfully, I lived with my parents, so I didn't have to worry too much about rent. But like, I felt like there was no like real. Maybe I should have had more confidence in myself.
Right.
But like, I personally felt I didn't have much of a chance of making a future in LA, and I had to look for something else. And it's gotten a lot worse since then.
Right.
In terms of like, there's just a homeless explosion, and it just it's not as like beautiful as it felt.
Right. It seems like it's getting worse now. The stories I've heard from people there, and there's a lot of homelessness and people like urinating on the streets and stuff like that you rarely see in a lot of cities in Europe. Yeah. Like. Okay, maybe you see that at night, but not during the day,
I went back to LA for 1 year. I lived in Israel for like a year and a half. Then I went back to LA, and just to see like, because my first year in Israel, I didn't really know like if I wanted to live in Israel forever or on the long term. It was more of just an experience. But after going back to LA, I felt really depressed because it was a harder place. Like a lot of my friends moved on and moved out of the city.
Right. What year was that?
Moved out of the state.
What year?
That was like 2016. 2015.
Oh, this was just before I met you, basically. I think I met you in must have been November 2016. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was in LA for like for almost a year and a half, but not quite. And wow, it was just
a depressing place. It sounds like the way you talk about LA is like the way I would expect people to talk about like the Soviet Union. Like it was a horrible place, and I just wanted to get out.
I guess, like, I don't want to say it's that bad, but like it's a hard place to adult. And I didn't have like, before I left, I was driving, and when I went back, I didn't have like a car to drive, so I was taking public transportation, which made it all the much worse. Like I had to take a bus at night, and the bus was just full of homeless people. Like there was like way more homeless people in that bus than there were like regular people, and it just smelled horrible, and you'd see just terrible things, homeless children. It like, I really saw a part of LA that before I could always just ignore because I felt like I was just kind of living an easy life, you know? Yeah.
Wow.
So
then
I had to go back. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but how did you then decide to go to Israel?
To begin with.
Yes.
I was a big fan of traveling, like in my early 20s. I went to a bunch of countries, just like just going everywhere. Like I went to like Egypt and China and Italy and all these places. And I went to, after I left college, I took a trip to Mexico because I didn't really know about what else to do. So I just took all the money I had and I just went to Mexico, and I thought like maybe I'll find something over there cheap I could grasp onto and just live life in Mexico and see how it goes.
Right.
And I was down there for only a month, and I met this American Israeli guy who told me about like the Aliyah process, because my mom's Jewish, but like she's not so Jewish. And I didn't really know about like all these like in and outs about like Israel and Judaism and all this, right.
Was your mother actually Jewish, or was she a convert?
No, she was actually Jewish.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
She's, yeah. My dad's Catholic. My mom, she's a real Jewish woman. She doesn't like it. She's a self-hating Jew, but she is Jewish.
Okay.
And so I it wasn't like a life that I was exposed to too much. And this guy that I met over there, who was like Israeli American, told me about making Aliyah, which is like this immigration program that takes like Jews from all over the world and gives them citizenship to Israel so they can live there. And I think like a lot of Americans that do that, they're like hardcore into like Zionism and all that. I'm not. I just wanted like an opportunity. And I was like, you know what? Like I have nothing else to do. Like I don't like I was 23 when I was in Mexico. And I was like, I have nothing else. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with my life. Let's just go to fucking Israel.
That's it. So that's what you do when you're young.
I did the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like within about a year later, I think. Or, exactly 1 year later, I was an Israeli citizen. I moved to Israel.
But you spoke no Hebrew before going to Israel, right?
You learn it. They provide you with a bunch of like classes, and they provide you with programs, and the government helps you out a lot. Like you're not like you just don't get there and you're like stranded. Like you get a lot of help and a lot of like social welfare and stuff.
Okay, so the first when was the year that you first came to Israel?
It was 2013, I believe, late summer of 2013, and then I stayed till October of 2014. And I went back to America.
And did you have to prove that you're Jewish? Like, was there a big process, or because they assumed that your mother was Jewish, so therefore it was all right, like anybody can go if their mother is Jewish?
It wasn't hard. Like, I just needed birth certificates that linked me to like Judaism, which is like, all right, I have my birth certificate, I have my mom's birth certificate, I have my grandmother's death certificate. It says like Hebrew on it, like on my grandmother's, and I could link that I'm related to her. So that was it. And I needed to go through like some religious stuff because, I didn't know anything about like this part of me.
Oh.
Like I didn't know much about it culturally.
So they asked you questions.
So one of the rules in America is that if you want to make Aliyah, the process, you have to get like a letter signed by an Orthodox rabbi saying that you're Jewish. And this was the hardest part because, I wasn't related to the religion. So I had to delve into that world, and I had to like get to know all these like rabbis and stuff. And I had to pretend to be very religious for a while. Not very religious, but I had to pretend to be like mildly religious and go to Shabbat dinners and all this kinds of stuff. And then, like, the minute I got to Israel, like, the kippah came off, I never wore it again,
So, wait, you grew up without the bar mitzvah and everything? Like, you didn't have anything like that?
No.
Wow.
No, never did a bar mitzvah.
And never went to the synagogue? No, what do you call it? What do you call the holy...
the synagogue.
Synagogue, okay. So you never
went
there.
I went to... I think like a long time ago, me and my brother, we went to like some other family member's bar mitzvah. Like I remember it, but like that's like as much as it ever went, Like I was always aware that this was a part of me,
right?
But I just didn't know that it could like get me citizenship to another country.
Cool. And you said you were in Mexico. Do you speak Spanish? Because you
not at all. No, not at all.
Because I think you're part Mexican. You told me. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, my dad's Mexican American.
Okay.
And I grew up in a Mexican area, very like high Hispanic population, and it's like I think it's like the problems of a biracial person, that like they're not very spoken about, but like you don't really feel like too connected to any kind of culture. So like like I didn't feel like I was so a part of it, Like I was there, and I didn't feel like I was welcomed with open arms into like the Mexican community,
right? Because they look at you
like
and
the way I talk,
because they look at you and they're like, oh, you're whitey, you're a gringo, right?
No, because I don't look white, but like they hear my voice, and my voice is, I grew up living with my mother, my parents are divorced. I grew up like predominantly I was with my mom, and like I don't have like that I don't have like the Mexican accent at all,
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What do you make of? We had a discussion like a few weeks ago about the situation in U.S. now. It's coming. Not only the riots and everything, but the discourse and the level. Like you said you could disagree with people like easily like 15 years ago and it was fine, but now especially in US maybe I think the social media is making it worse. Like it's crazy what's happening, isn't it?
I think it's fucked up because like I remember when I was in like university and college, like back in like 2008, 2009, 2010, like in Southern California, which is really shocking, I guess, for some outsiders. It's that there was never any kind of tension about like you never really gave a shit about what other people believed, you know? At least I didn't, and like the people I know didn't really give a shit. And like I had friends that were right wing and religious, and I had friends that were like heavy liberal, and like you could mix them up, and like there wouldn't be arguments. It's like nobody really gave a fuck about like what other people believed, and it was kind of a beautiful society at that point, you know? Like everybody, you appreciated people for like the character and their personalities, which I still do, even though it's harder now because even this shit even gets into your mind, you know? Like like you're gonna be a little influenced by the world around you,
Of course.
even if you don't like it, you know. And I think right people and left people are influenced into this like fucked up like me versus you type of mentality.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
You know?
Terrible. I think the social media is making it so much worse, and
for sure.
pitting us against one another is just it's not a good place. Yeah. What do you think is the solution? I wanna like should be just like because Facebook has so much control and they're censoring stuff, man. I've heard. I've not been censored myself, but people that I know on Facebook, you know, especially the right wing people, have been put in quote unquote Facebook jail and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like the world did a complete flip, you know? Like
it's like we're so tolerant, we're gonna censor you now.
yeah, it's fucked up. Like you know, I think one of the best things, like I obviously like freedom of speech is a thing that's in multiple countries, not just America. But like I feel like that's like a good thing to live by. That people should have freedom of speech. They should be able to say whatever the fuck they want to say, you know. And so long as they're not really hurting anybody, like fuck it, like okay, like you're like maybe you're an asshole, maybe I don't like you, but like you should have the freedom to be that asshole, you know.
Right, but well, at least here in Slovenia, there's I saw some ads like 6 months ago where they were like hate speech is wrong and all that, but then I was like, well, hold on, this is a slippery slope because you can say it's how you define hate speech. Like if it's something you really dislike, you could say, well, this is hate speech. If somebody's saying like, oh, the earth, there's no global warming, let's say. There's no man-made global warming, and people will be offended, be like, it's hate speech. It's crazy.
It's just like, you know, it's all about like, it's all like perspective, and like it comes from like, you know, it's a very selective perspective. Like it's hate speech if like somebody's talking shit about like what you like, you know.
Yeah.
On a mass level, you know.
Yeah, that's the problem with it. Then. I
mean, and hating people is in no way like a good thing. Like
sure.
Like you know, we're all moral. We're all moral. Like you know, like you're gonna want to stay away from like a hateful motherfucker, but like, you know, at the end of the day, like just focus on yourself. If that hateful motherfucker isn't like, you know, sticking a fucking spear through you or some shit, you shouldn't really give a shit. You know, like it's like, well, fuck you, you motherfucker. Like,
so
you know.
Compare like because obviously you grew up in LA. Compare because a lot of people say there's a lot of crazies and slash a lot of people who want to be famous in LA, and that's not necessarily always very stable as such. But then now in Israel, which is there's tensions for other reasons. So how would you compare people from LA to Israelis?
Israel is like a very like, okay, so LA is like, I feel like I became a better person in Israel because even though people are more rude and more loud, there's no real violence, you know, like you see in LA. Like if you do something really disrespectful to a person in LA, like if you scream at them on a bus or something, they might just like fucking beat the shit out of you, you know. Or depending on what neighborhood you're in, something much worse could happen to you. But in Israel, people just scream at each other all the fucking time. But it never escalates to violence. Like 8 times out of 10, it won't escalate to like someone getting fucking hurt. Where I think in LA, if people behaved in that way, it'd be like, you know, like I'd say like 7 times out of 10, somebody probably would. Like, you know, it would turn into a physical altercation. So I think, you know, in Israel, people are generally like, not like violent, but they're kind of obnoxious. and
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
it could be stressful because like people are just screaming all the time and like talking on their phones very loudly on the public transportation and it's very old fashioned
right.
mentality. Like I think like is socially Israel's like in the 1970s. Of where America was back then, and in some ways that's
Right.
nice. In some ways, it's like kind of annoying as shit. But like there's a freedom with that for
Right.
sure.
1970s, it wasn't politically correct either. Is that the thing in Israel? Like to say, what's the political correctness in Israel?
Um, I don't think majority of the people here don't give a fuck about political correctness. I'd say like 80% don't give a shit. Like you hear racist things all the time, but like I don't think people are just really racist. Like I don't think there's real hatred behind it, but you hear it all the fucking time. And at first it was shocking for me because I don't think LA is a very racist place. Like I've never experienced racism in LA, and I can't even recall like hearing much of it. In Israel, it's like you could see it sometimes.
Give me an example.
It's like and it's sometimes it's fucked up. Like all right, so like one thing I saw that was kind of like upsetting even for me was like a Zionist guy, like American of all people, like we have like a lot of refugees here, like a lot of refugees from Sudan and Eritrea, and I think they're like really nice people. They're not bad. They just live their lives. They don't really disrupt anything. But I was on the bus and like this fat guy with a kippah. He sounded like he was from New Jersey. Just started like I didn't see exactly how it started, but he started screaming at this guy. He called them like the N word. He said like, "Go back to your country. Stop fucking up our country," which was really like weird for me when I hear like an American guy who made a aliyah. Like, cause I've lived here for a long time, but I can't say this is like my country. I mean I don't like but like
Wait, but you're a
like,
citizen, right?
I am, but like I feel like there's like a lot of like rites to passages before you can start saying my country.
Fair enough.
And like, oh, I'm Israeli. Like I guess on paper, like I am Israeli citizen, but like at heart, like what am I? I'm like a Californian.
Yeah.
So anyway, he starts screaming this and he punches the black guy a few times, and yeah, he like punches him, and it's like someone starts screaming at him to stop. Which is nice. Like some Russian girl starts yelling at him, so he stops. Yeah, and then like he's trying to calm everyone down in Hebrew, and like the black guy gets off the bus like all sad, and it's like wow, like that is one of the like the most horrible things I've ever seen. Like I've seen a lot of horrible shit, and like violent stuff, but like I've never seen anything like that, like a racist thing.
That's
And you see some examples like that. That's like the worst one I've seen. But you see other examples like that, and it's just like really like wow. Like yeah, it's like some like 1970s like New York kind of shit, where like some Italian or something is screaming at a black guy.
That's crazy. Didn't you say that Israel is people just scream and don't punch, and now you give me an example where somebody's punching someone. Yeah,
it's an American guy though. It was an American doing it.
But then Israel is such a mix. I know when I was there was Russian Israelis, there's American Israelis, there's people that came from Poland or whatever like years ago, and such a mix of people. It's incredible.
Yeah. There is a mix.
Yeah. I know that I noticed that a lot of people that come there are, I don't know, they're really the Israeli women are really pretty in Israel compared to like,
oh, of course,
I don't know, Poland or Hungary or something.
To England,
to the UK for sure.
Like yeah, for sure. Even compared to Russia, I think the Israeli women are like some of the most beautiful in the world. Like for sure. Like I've never, like I'm from LA, and I could tell you like the women in LA don't compare to the women in Israel. Like they don't even compare. It's like it's just like everybody's pretty all the girls are pretty beautiful outside, like at least 80% of them.
Is it the weather? Is it the sunshine? Is it the hummus? What is it?
I have no fucking clue. Like I mean, I come from LA, which also has a lot of good weather, and a lot of sunshine. True. Yeah. I have no idea what it is. I guess good genes, but like yeah, like Israel definitely has its own share of problems, just like America and all that. You know, like it's not like it's not as fucked up, I don't think, and I think it's a little more like organic here, but it's still fucked up in its own sense.
When people
you know?
hear about Israel, they're always concerned about the wars and all that. And yeah, when I was there, I sensed there was some people were jumpy. Even somebody heard a siren and they got like a fright because there was like possible start of a war or something. You know, there was like because like everybody's in the military there and all that. So did you find that like kind of the I find it in Jerusalem a little bit when I was there, like a little bit of tension.
Like for sure, Jerusalem. There's a lot of tension there. Like I don't live in Jerusalem. I visit there maybe a few times a year, but like I think that is a place of a lot of tension. Like in Jerusalem, they're living different lives, you know, from like the Tel Aviv people. Because I could tell you over here, like that shit doesn't really exist. Like you know, I know there's like a Palestinian conflict
Right.
and all that kinds of shit, but like I could tell you, like day from day to day, I never really think about it. Most of my friends never talk about it. We're just living life. You know, it doesn't like in Tel Aviv. It just doesn't feel like a big thing. And I don't think it felt like that in Tveria either. You know, like people are just
Right.
living life. And I think like you know, like unless you're living in a place like Jerusalem, you're probably not feeling it. The consequences. You have to like seek them out. You know,
When was the last war? It was quite a yeah.
the last big war. I think it was like 2006 in Lebanon or something.
So it's been a while.
I mean, there's been like little operations since then, but like a war, I think it's been like the 2006
Yeah,
Lebanon war.
because I remember when I was there was a few ISIS guys that were killed because they went close to the border, Syria and Israel, and they were shooting at something, and the Israeli, I don't know what, but just killed them. Like they had missiles or something, and boom, done.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think it'd be hard to like you know, any kind of army could probably take down an ISIS, you know, soldier. Like you know, I think it's more they're like more guerrilla warfare,
yeah.
right? Like I
They
don't.
are.
It's like I don't think they'd be hard to take out and to come with any like real military, you know, like Syria. Think about Syria. Like by the time ISIS started there, it was already like kind of a fucked up place because they had like the Arab Spring and there was kind of a civil war going on. So like easily a group like ISIS could go in there and start taking over. And I think Iraq was pretty fucked up too. You know, so like those two were like two easy places to probably conquer for them. But I mean, I don't think they would have gotten into like somewhere like Iran. You know, I don't think they could possibly get into somewhere like Israel or even Lebanon if they wanted to, you know, and definitely not Turkey, you know.
By the way, you see that bomb that went off in Lebanon the other day? I saw that. Oh man.
In Beirut, it was like a chemical
Was it?
factory
I
explosion.
thought at first it was like a terrorist attack, but I was like, whoa, this is way too big. I don't know if somebody planted the bomb this big.
Wow. Yeah, that looks so fucked up. It was so fucked up. You know,
It looks like an atomic bomb going off in a city. It's crazy. Like, wow.
like a baby atomic bomb. Like it was like, yeah, I rewatched it like 5 times. I was like, holy shit. Like that's crazy. Like I heard like I'm sure like that what they like confirmed that like 75 people died so far, but I'm sure it's like way more. Like they're probably like digging through the rubble to find people, you know?
I saw this angle where it was like near a road, and there was like people like driving their cars near the factory. I wonder what happened to their cars there. Wow, that must have
Wow. Fucking blown over for sure.
Hopefully they have some good insurance. The people that survived. That was crazy natural, not a natural, but kind of like factory kind of mishap.
Wow. It's fucked up, you know, like in a moment, in like in a split second, you know, your life could just go from like normal walking home from school or wherever the fuck you do to like, bam, just explosion, you know, like factory, like, you know, it was like billowing smoke. And then all of a sudden you just get this like fucking explode. Like the minute you see that, you know it's
How
over.
did that
You know,
start
it's, like,
even?
done.
It must have started something. There's some conspiracies of saying that there was a missile that it was but it must have not been a missile because terrorists don't have like airplanes and stuff.
It's scary shit, man. I was watching this documentary on this chemical leak in a factory in India back like I think it was like 20 years ago, like in 2001. No, it was like in 1980s, like 1986 or something. I think there's like a chemical factory, and and like while everyone was sleeping, the chemicals just like lightly spread, like this cloud of chemical just spread throughout the city. And, like I think thousands of people died. People were like running, coughing, like fucked up.
Damn.
You know? Yeah. It's like a fuck of an interesting documentary to watch. It's like the same thing that kind of happened with Chernobyl, right? Nobody saw like an explosion of radioactivity, did they? It was just kind of like
and the Russians denied it as well.
Kind of like coronavirus.
Obviously, the Russians were like, no, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then Norway was like, oh, there's radioactive activity coming from Russia.
Yeah. Wow. And it wasn't the first time that there was an accident like that in Russia. Like somewhere else, like in a mountain region somewhere, like in the 60s or the 50s, a bunch of people just abandoned the village, you know, and there was like a bunch of radioactivity in that area. I forgot what it was called, but I heard about this from someone. I know it's
like going back to people that died, like 75 people. Do you believe there's such a thing as fate, or do you think it's just like the world is just like a big accident and people just like kind of like animals and you die, you're just unlucky?
Well, like so basically you're asking me if you think there's like an afterlife, or like this is like a creation.
It's a big question. I know it's a kind of big question.
I mean I definitely believe that there's like an afterlife, you know, because I've had paranormal experiences, you know, when I was
let's
younger.
talk about that. I wanna hear.
All right.
I think you told me about seeing some. Okay, you tell me.
All right, so like this pretty much like sells it for me that there has to be something more.
Okay.
I don't really subscribe to any religion. I think if I did have to, then it'd be like Judaism. But like,
of course, I'm glad you said that because you're in Israel.
yeah, like you know, but at the end of the day, I feel like ultimately when it comes to that kinds of stuff, like I don't think we could really know, because if there is like a God out there, which I'm pretty sure there's something, I don't think like our small human minds could really comprehend what it's about. And I don't think like a book that's like 1,000 pages could really tell us all about it, you know?
Right. It's limited. You're saying that it's not.
Yeah.
It's just saying a point of view that doesn't contain the whole truth.
Yeah, it's kind of like why I wouldn't like, you know, I feel like I couldn't follow like the laws of like being kosher and all this kinds of stuff, because times have changed in the past, like what is it, like 3,000 years or something, 5,000 years, 6,000 years,
right?
Like if there's a God over there, he would see the world as has changed, so naturally wouldn't he like change his mind, you know, like just like because we cook things differently, so would he say like, all right, you could probably eat this because, you know, you found a way to like, you know, make it more healthy to eat or something like that? Like, wouldn't he change his mind about things at all? Like, you know, even within the past 300 years, you know?
Yeah, I find it interesting that people rational like Ben Shapiro are still very much like kosher and all that. But I respect it. I respect their dedication, you know?
Yeah, I respect it too. I guess it's like traditions and all that stuff. But,
okay, so
anyways,
paranormal.
All right. So the first one I had was me and my brother, my mom, and my dad at the time. We all lived in a haunted house, and but we didn't know it was haunted. It wasn't all fucked up. Like, you know, it was just a haunted house. Like, you know, you would hear like creaks in the walls, like, you know, like you like you know, you just there was like you feel a presence. And one day, me and my brother were playing in the room, you know, and the closet door was open, and we're just like there, and we just heard like a voice go like call his name, like a little girl voice, like go like, Vincent. That's my brother's name, Vincent. So it just went, Vincent. Like it just called him out. And we just freaked the fuck out. Like we didn't know what the fuck that was. Like a little voice, you know? Like from inside the room, like right there with us. Just say like, Vincent, you know?
Oh, the way you say it like that, it just kind of creeps me out already.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's kind of creeping me out too. You know, I'm like sitting here in the dark with like a candle next to me, like recording this. I literally am, you know. And another time, I was like laying in my bed at night. You know, me and my brother shared a room. We had like 2 beds in there.
Yeah.
And it was like Hulk Hogan kicked my bed from under me. Like my bed just like lifted up off the ground and fell back down.
What?
And I was like, yeah, and I was like screaming, man. I was like, my mom came in. It was like, what the fuck? Like, that's some crazy shit. Like,
What,
I
you were
can't
on the
explain
bed?
that.
You were on the bed?
Yeah, I was sleeping. It was like late at night. It was like 9 o'clock or something, you know? Like, I was already in bed, you know? Like, we were put to bed already. I was like a kid. I was like 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, that's like, there's no way that that is not paranormal, because it's, how would you explain it physically? Like, the mattress can't just like go up. There has to be some energy, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, my brother was like next to me in the bed next to me. You know, he woke up when I woke up. You know, and it wasn't like it lifted up slowly and fell. It was like someone really strong like punched the fuck out of the bed. You know,
Wow.
from the bottom. And what else? I saw like a shadow figure, like a shadow of a person in the room I was sleeping, like just
Oh
kind of
my
dancing
gosh.
around. You know, like kind of dancing around, like a small person, like the size of like a Star Wars action figure, just kind of moving around, like dancing.
What? That is freaky. Just like
Yeah,
nobody there, and then you see a shadow and just dancing.
yeah, and
What did it look like?
like a little person, you know, like a shadow of a little person, just like doing like little flips and shit.
Was it like in the middle of the room, or was it just like in a place that's not as like
It was like late.
obvious?
It was late at night, and it was a shadow on the wall, like across from my bed.
Wow, I'm getting freaked out the more you tell me
Uh,
that.
and then what else happened? You know, the dog would start barking at things for no reason. We had a pet dog at the time. It just bark at nothing, and like, you know,
Well, that happens to other dogs as well. They just okay.
but that's still creepy. You know, like why the fuck is this dog bark? Like, what the fuck is it barking at? You know.
Right. What was the baseline basically? The dog did it usually bark at strangers, let's say, or
I don't think so. Like it was it was like half German Shepherd and half Pit Bull,
okay.
and it was a lively dog, but like I don't think it would bark at nothing. You know.
Yeah.
What else? But the last time after that, we moved out of there, thankfully,
Oh yeah.
and I didn't experience nothing for like over 10 years. You know. Then when I was 21, I had an experience with my friend in his bedroom, and he believed he was in a haunted house. He would tell me like a lot of stories, and it was a creepy old house. Like this house looked like it was like built in like, you know, like 1910 or something. You know, it was
Right.
like old wooden, really shitty looking. And I didn't like, you know, he was like my best friend, so like of course I believed him, but I still didn't really believe it because I didn't experience
Right.
it for myself. So I was in his room. We were both in there, and he was like sitting on a chair, and I was like sitting on a different chair, and I was like, I looked, and I find if there's like a spirit here, like I'm gonna just tell it to come out. So I looked up at the light bulb for some reason, and I said, if there's a spirit in here, stop being a little bitch and show yourself, you know. And at that very moment, I kid you not, the light bulb popped, the lights went off, and a penny flew out of a jar and hit my friend's guitar. The guitar made like a noise, like dun, you know.
Wow.
And I jumped over my friend so fast and ran the fuck out of there. And, you know, it's not like I was just a child. You know, I was 21 years old, you know. At the time.
Wow.
10 years ago. It was 10 years ago.
That is freaky.
Yeah.
Did she move out of the house as well?
Eventually, yeah, but his mom still lives there and his grandma.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he had a lot of haunted stories, a lot of fucked up ones. But anyway, like, I live in Israel now, and, like, there's no haunted stuff here. Like, you could walk through a cemetery at night here, and you don't even feel, like, a vibe of, like, you don't even feel, like, a presence of anything. It's just like, there's nothing. I swear to God, there's nothing haunted in this fucking country. You know?
Why do you think that is? Is it the history or the religious, like, because it was obviously religious for a long time. Do you think that might have something to do with that?
I mean, for sure, I think it might. Like, I even think there's, like, a passage in, like, the Torah or something about, like, this, you know? But I'm not...
Like, what does
I'm
it
not,
say?
like, too... I don't know. I'm not... I heard something about this. I think I might even read it,
Okay.
like, years ago when I gave a shit about this kinds of stuff. But, like, there's something about it. But I don't remember. But, I mean, you could take the religious history and all that and, like... it makes sense, I guess, that there's nothing much here. But it's also sad because nobody in this country believes in ghosts. Like, nobody that was born here. So when
That's
I tell
good.
these stories to them, they just think I'm crazy, you know?
But in a way, that's good because like you don't want to mess children up with stories of like ghosts and then be scared of the dark. Like people are more fearless, I feel, because they have
I mean,
nothing
but
to be afraid of.
but it's very sheltered. Like, you know, like over here, there's no crime. There's no gunshots at night. There's no ghost. It's like these things exist. You know, there's these things exist. Like why? Like, you know, maybe you shouldn't feel so safe. You know,
You know,
you know,
Michael,
maybe you should earn that bravery. You know.
Michael, I believe you, but I haven't seen anything myself. Like I believe people experiences and stuff, but I think in Israel, given that it's like so religious, and also you have the compulsory military service, I think people like grow up in a more kind of grounded environment, whereas maybe I don't know. It just it depends on the like the culture and the like the vibes of the place. It depends on so many things.
I guess, you know. I mean, you could talk about the military service, but you know, most of people aren't combat soldiers, you know. They're like in desk, like doing typing and shit, you know. It's not like they're all like storming the fucking front lines or anything
Okay,
like
sure,
that.
sure, sure. But
Yeah.
I knew some people, you know. I think we knew some people there and that were in the military.
Everybody knows some people. Yeah, of course. Like, of course, you know.
I think it's good. Like you if I heard that some people were like really proud to serve their country and all that, and yeah.
Others aren't.
One time I was on the bus and there was these girls that were like 15 or something, and they were like, I don't know why I talked to them for a little bit, and then they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to. I think I asked them about the military, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna go in 3 years. We're all three of us are gonna go. And it's just to me it just seems so surreal, like girls, but they're going to draft, and they're going to because they have to.
And they're probably gonna like, serve coffee to some officer or something, or like, learn how to like data entry or something.
But is that it?
Like,
realistically,
realistically,
is that it?
huh?
Like, don't you have
For some
have
people
some
it is.
training though?
You see some obese soldiers, like
Right.
obese morbidly, like they're not doing shit, like they're not like, when you see an American woman soldier, like she's not pretty, she looks big, she looks like she could probably fuck you up, like most girls in the American military don't look like somebody you want to bring home, They look like monsters.
What?
Like monsters. Not all of them.
I thought like
not all of them.
whenever I think of Jewish woman from America, I think of like pretty woman from New York or something, But I guess that's
No.
not,
I'm talking about.
that's not it.
I'm talking about American soldiers, like American soldiers, that are female.
Oh, I thought. Okay,
You know?
sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about like American soldiers that went to Israel and now they're serving in the Israeli army. Sorry, I don't know why.
No. But you see, like Israeli girl soldiers, they're like, they get to like hem their uniform, so like their skin tight, and they look all like well done and beautiful and stuff. Like, it's like it's not like don't give the soldiers so much credit. They're like just kids, Most of them are just fucking kids,
Sure, but it's still impressive.
All of them.
It's still impressive. Like,
I guess. I mean, they do the same thing in South Korea. There's a mandatory military service in South Korea.
really, I didn't know.
I don't
that.
know if the women go and serve, but I think the guys do for sure.
Wow, I didn't know that they have to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because of the North Korea, the war situation, right? Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Anyway, it's calming down. Like, I have some friends like born here, and like they didn't serve. I know like a lot of people who didn't serve that were born here in Israel. And I think it's like, when I first came here, I was supposed to get drafted, and I was called to the office to serve, and I just bullshitted a little, and I got out of it like easy, like nothing.
What did you tell them?
And I showed up like stoned and a little fucked up and hungover.
Come on, man.
And like, no, there's no way they're gonna draft me into any. Like, it should be a choice. I think this is one of the flaws of Israel.
Right.
It should be a choice to serve for your country. It shouldn't be like some mandatory shit. Especially in like today's climate where it's not that bad. This isn't like 1956 or something. This isn't like 1948 where like, you're in like some serious shit. Like it's like, I think we're living in like these pretty laid back days in terms of like warfare.
Well, it's the times are laid back all up until the point of war, and then it's not laid back anymore. And you cannot say that about many countries in the world, but Israel is one of those countries, and South Korea, and maybe a few others, that the potential for war, I feel, is always there, even though you might not realize it. I think it's always there, and I don't like to say it, but I think it's true.
I feel like, all right, the potential is always there, not as high as the potential as it once was, and Western media really blow shit out of the water in terms of Israel. Because if you fucking look at the news in Israel, look it up right now from where you're at. I'm sure it's pretty fucking horrific. But as someone who lives here, it's just another fucking day. Am I going to eat like a piece of pizza today? Or I'm going to go to work? Like what? Am I going to go to the bar with my friends?
Right.
Like nobody's like all fucking terrified. Nobody's like shaking in their skin here. I think like worse than any fucking terrorist has been like the whole coronavirus thing and like the protest over the economy and get the prime minister removed and stuff.
Right, sure. I guess the prime minister, Bibi, is not so popular in Israel. I know many people that hate him.
Yeah, I mean, he's like running the country to like shit, kind of.
Right, but again, this the virus situation did not help matters at all, and it's
no.
Wow.
Not at all. It's getting like, I feel like at this point, like the government doesn't really give a shit about the virus too much anymore. And like a lot of the people don't. And it's like, but it's still visibly there. And like, it's starting to hit closer and closer to home to where you think people in the office have it and they're getting tested. Then people know people who have it. And I even know someone who's had it. So it's like, like when it first started, I didn't really give a shit about the coronavirus. We were on lockdown.
Same.
We're all working from home. And nobody I knew anybody who had it. Like, it was just like this thing that's like, it felt so far away. But like, now it feels like such a possibility to the point where like, like I could have it right now and not even know it. Like, I've been feeling like a little shitty all week. Not exactly coronavirus shitty, but like shitty,
Yeah, I still don't know anybody that's had it. I still feel like
Really?
it's kind of removed from me. But maybe that's because that's because I just don't know that person maybe. But then once I know a person, then I'll be like you. Then I'll be like, well, I maybe have to take care of myself more. But I don't know, man. I think it's people need to take care of themselves first. You need to take like zinc and like vitamin D and stuff like that.
Yeah. I do that. I have zinc and vitamin D and all that right here with me. Vitamin C.
Oh yeah. What's your daily like routine? Do you take it every day?
Yeah, like all in the morning. I just take them all before I go to work.
Like how many? What were we talking about here? Because I'm kind of interested in supplements. I take a few myself.
Just one each. Like I think that's like the safe amount, right? Like just one each. Like one vitamin D. I take vitamin B, vitamin C, and one zinc, and then that's it. Like I think that's good, right? Like just one. I don't feel like it's good to like take like 3 vitamin Ds at one time.
That depends. Because like you can buy like vitamins that have like all the vitamins B in them. This is called usually vitamin B complex. Or you can buy each vitamin separately. So you can buy B1 separately, B2, B3, all the way to B12. You could do that. They'll be like walking around with pills every day.
Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes I wonder if it's even good to like take so many pills, Like I have like some like heartburn medication that I take in the morning too. So I'm like putting like 5 pills in my mouth in the morning before I go to work, and I'm just wondering like, are these pills all good for me? Like, am I fucking myself up? Like, like it's like a lot of fucking pills,
Well, try not taking them to see how you feel. I don't know.
Like, and also, your body gets used to that extra boost.
Yeah.
So if I don't, now that I'm on them, when I stop taking them, I'm going to crash, and I'm probably going to be more likely to like catch any fucking bullshit that's running around,
Maybe. But it may also be like it's placebo. Because When I was in like college in Scotland, I was doing this research for psychology, and I learned that some American research found that um, a placebo effect is getting more prevalent in experiments. That it's accelerating.
So you're saying like my vitamins have nothing in them at all?
No, no,
They're
no.
just like empty
I'm just
pills.
saying that in the scientific experiments, that placebo is getting more and more a big to be a bigger factor in experiments. Apparently.
Ah, so like I'll just get sick like purposely if I stop taking them. Like it'll just be like my body will just be like it won't. I'll just feel sick without really being sick.
Yeah, it could be the opposite of placebo. Then it could be nocebo. Could be like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like you say. Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know. Like
I feel like that's definitely a thing, you know, because like once someone mentions like they might have coronavirus, this has happened like 3 times. You know, like in my office, this has happened like 3 times where someone might have it. And like the minute I hear they might have it, yeah, I start like feeling like a little shitty, you know, like I start feeling like a little sick.
really.
Yeah. Like I start feeling like, oh fuck, why is my throat itchy? You know, like what's happening?
Yeah, that's it. Like you start like overthinking everything.
Oh yeah, you know. And I already have like issues with like anxiety and all that, so like it just feeds onto it like very easily, you know.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you went to like you used to take walks in the hostel. You remember that?
Like, I mean, I used to take walks. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's normal, right? Like people go for a walk.
No, but I remember you specifically saying that you were going through that you had a like a bad period before, and you said the walks help you, and I found that to be interesting because like I think physical like at least some little physical exercise is helpful.
Well, I think yeah, like all right. So when I went back to America, like in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
I got really depressed and like it stressed out and it like fucked up my mind a lot.
LA, just
And
feeling LA or other things.
just like the whole situation,
Okay.
the whole situation, you know. And like going back to Israel, I started feeling a lot better. But I never got to like I never became as tolerant towards stressful situations after that again. Like even now, I could get stressed out quite fucking easily over things. And where I think like before that, I could like I was very tolerant. I could just like I could handle someone being annoying for so long and not have to tell them to shut the fuck up. It just blow by me. But like now, it's like it gets me so angry. And I feel like the hostel at that point had its moments of like being very stressful, and not feeling like you had your own space ever.
Mm-hmm.
There's just always constant activity. So I think like those walks really like helped. Like I could like just get away for a while and have like my own mind.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I heard that Joe Rogan likes to go in like what is it called? Like no sensory like tank. He goes in and it's like dark and there's no sound coming in and it's just him and his thoughts.
It sounds amazing. Yeah, people need that. I take isolation days like at least once a week where it's like I don't talk to nobody. I message people like on WhatsApp, but like for the most part, it's like I just stay inside. Maybe I walk to the store to get something, but like I feel like people need that. They need a day where it's like they don't have to deal with anybody.
Yeah, like turn off social media and just be like and just that I think that's why traditionally like having one day off and not being like part of working and just like well, I guess it was like more religious back then, but it was,
Yeah.
one day of rest.
I mean, maybe I should start doing that because I don't turn off social media. I just don't like meet with anybody. But maybe I should start like turning off my social media as well. And like, I don't know, but I think it's okay to like watch a movie or something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But like, I think social media is like a whole lot of bullshit. I hate it. I feel like that's crippled the world significantly. Well, it's done some beautiful things for it, but I feel like it's fucked us up in a lot of ways too. Like depression and stuff is like skyrocketing, especially amongst young people. And I feel like this probably has a big thing to do with it.
Oh yeah, like girls compare each other, the pictures and all that. Like you see a lot of Instagrams and it's like every good-looking girl is a model now. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
You ever been on Tinder and you just see the pictures and it's like model pictures, like perfectly like lit and perfectly like everything. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And I feel like that and like things like people just posting about their like daily lives all the time. This isn't like, it's not normal for us to really give a fuck about these types of things, you know? Like, all right, so we come on a line. We were born in a weird time in the 80s. You're born in the 80s, right?
Yeah, 85.
So yeah, I was born in like 89, so a little later. But I feel like we were born in a line because I could remember the old world. Like, I think like the first 10 years of my life were like no internet, you know, didn't have a computer growing up. You know, we had like a Super Nintendo, and you know, most of the time we just go out with our friends and we just basically do what like felt like we wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, like there wasn't like I'm going to do this for somebody else. And even in my teenage years, like social media didn't explode yet. And you know, I would call my friends on the phone and we talk on the phone, just you know, sometimes we do three-way calling. I'd talk to girls on the phone, which is something that's like not even such a big thing anymore, you know, to like just call someone up and have a big long conversation, you know.
I love it though.
And yeah, but now it's more like you call someone up and it's like, all right, so you're gonna be there. All right, I'll see you there. You know, it's like a fast little exchange, and most of the real talking is done through text. So like, and I feel like for me, like, I guess like somewhere around like I want to say like around like 2014, 2015, things just went like overboard with this shit. Like there was like a real line, you know, like, and I feel like the generation below us, or even like the generation that's like that was born in like the year 2000, like for them this is just life, you know.
Yeah.
Like this is it. But for me it feels unnatural. Like it still feels like an unnatural thing. And I could see that it's kind of fucking up humanity, you know? Like realistically, I used to take photos of me and my friends for myself to keep in like a little book that I could look at one day.
Yeah.
And I think now it's not even about that anymore. It's like, look at me, you know? When realistically, I shouldn't give a fuck about what you do with your life. You know, I don't care about your little vacation. I don't care about what you're doing with your friends. And you shouldn't really care about what I do with my life either,
right.
You know? People should just be doing what they want for themselves.
Right. It's like the rise of narcissism. Like so many people are just like are so eager to have him be displayed out there. But I guess in a way, me doing just doing a podcast, I feel like this is something that people like in the 90s or in early 2000s would never think of. Like, so it's like everybody can be like a producer of content, whereas before,
yeah.
You couldn't unless you were like a big shot, unless you like were hired by a radio company or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't think having a podcast is a very narcissistic thing, unless you're talking about yourself, you know?
Right.
Like on my podcast, I have interviews with different people.
Yeah.
You know, I give people like a look into like a different person's life. So it's like you know, giving to society and not so much just putting myself on a pedestal, I guess. But it, you know.
Yeah, I guess so. You remember like back in 2006 when Time Magazine came out with "You Are the Person of the Year" or something, like it just because of YouTube, and that was the start.
I definitely don't remember that. Definitely don't.
Yeah, that was a big indication that the culture was turning a bit more narcissistic than it was before.
No. I think one of the more interesting things, though, is like, what's next? Where are we going to from here? You know?
I believe it's going to get worse before it gets better.
But like, where could we go? Like, this is the crazy thing, you know? Like, where could we go from Instagram and YouTube and TikTok? Like, where's the next step? Like, it's not even something that I could really imagine.
Holograms.
'Cause you know what? If you're... yeah, maybe. Like...
3D world.
Like honestly, like in the Facebook days, if you would have said like in 2006 when people were still on
MySpace.
when people were on MySpace and when people were on YouTube, if you would have said like if you would have pitched the idea of like an Instagram or like something like a TikTok or TikTok, which is somewhat like YouTube at the end of the day, like it's like an evolution off of that, you know, like a little video.
Yeah.
Like, I could have believed it. I would have been like, okay, like, I could see people coming up with these things. Mm-hmm. But where the fuck do we go from here? Like, what's next, you know?
That's a good question. I wish I knew. I just hope that like all the craziness that the media with all the politics and all that, but now the corona thing is just, I feel like it's accelerated the internet, where the internet last year was like important to the like the 7, let's say 70%, like you could still survive without the internet, but now it's a lot more important. Now it's like 85 or 90%, like you have like a lot more businesses, I feel like, will be online because of this. Like the so many businesses went out of business because of the measures taken by governments.
Yeah.
So we've taken a huge
I mean,
leap forward in that.
That's assuming that we won't pick ourselves back up from this, though. I mean, for all we know, in a year from now, or maybe even 2 years, more realistically, probably, coronavirus could be like a very distant memory that we won't be talking about.
Oh,
Life will
I
be
hope
completely
so.
back to normal.
I really
I
hope
mean,
so.
who knows? But
Yeah. Anyway, on this somber note,
yes,
we shall conclude this episode of the podcast. Thank you very much, Michael, for
no
being on the
problem.
show. And you can plug your show again at the end.
Yeah, them, that, and this. You could find us on Instagram if you want to follow us. And
There you go. Instagram.
yeah,
There you
have
go.
a good
You
night.
have your own Instagram.
It's been good.
I did not know
we
that.
have a them, that, and this podcast Instagram. Them, that, and this podcast. Look for us. And us. Like, it's just me and a bunch of random people. Like, yeah, you could find us there. And thanks for having me on. I think it was fun.
My pleasure.
Anytime.
My
You
pleasure.
need me back.
Anyway, on this somber note,
Yes.
we shall conclude this episode of the podcast. Thank you very much, Michael, for
No
being on the
problem.
show. And you can plug your show again at the end.
Yeah, them, that, and this. You could find us on Instagram if you want to follow us. And
There you go. Instagram.
yeah,
There you
have
go.
a good
You
night.
have your own Instagram.
It's been good.
I did not know
we
that.
have a them, that, and this podcast Instagram. Them, that, and this podcast. Look for us. And us. Like, it's just me and a bunch of random people. Like, yeah, you could find us there. And thanks for having me on. I think it was fun.
My pleasure.
Anytime.
My
You
pleasure.
need me back. I'll be happy to do it.
Cool. All right. There was the show. All That Jazz with Matt Jazz.
Awesome.